What makes a great rivalry? Is it a sense of history on both sides, years spent building a strong identity, a pride in where you come from, and a belief in where you're going? The push and pull of never knowing who's going to come out on top each time the buzzer sounds? For the Oakland University Athletic Department, the move to the Horizon League didn't just signify a new era of competition with a host of new programs. It also heralded the beginning of what college basketball fans throughout Southeast Michigan hope will be the dawn of a classic rivalry between the Golden Grizzlies and that other Horizon League school just 26.5 miles down I-75.
Yeah, like this rival Detroit-Oakland thing got a lot of history behind it. You know, with us in Detroit, it's obviously we've had some past, history with them, and Coach Campy's become vocal with it and stirred the pot a little bit.
Well, I think there's lots of different kinds of rivalries, but I think the one that we're trying to foster here is two universities close to each other, located 30 miles, less than 30 miles away. Private versus public, little, 3,000 students versus 20,000 students. One school has a long, rich tradition of top 50 players of all time, great games, you know. The other school's new, the new kid on the block, want to be somebody, you know, reaching up and scratching and crawling to try and become something. And then maybe a little dislike, maybe a little controversy in the past, and maybe a little clash of egos and things like that, and then a 10-year hiatus where they wouldn't play each other. Now they have to. I think you stir that all together in a pot, and you got a pretty darn good rivalry.
Beyond two backyard brawls to look forward to every season, the move to the Horizon League and its different postseason structure also gave new stakes to the Grizzlies' regular season schedule.
Just knowing that we don't have to travel to South Dakota is a blessing. But, obviously everybody wants home court advantage, especially when it comes tournament time. And when the pressure really hits, you want to be at home with your fans and in the gym that you know, the hoops you know, and, the same routine. You're not, in a hotel walking around and you're in your apartment or your room. And so obviously everybody's, playing for home court advantage, and that's something that's, really different that we haven't seen. So, like I said, we're taking it one game at a time, but, that's pretty unique.
The regular season means something in the Horizon League because of seeding in the tournament. If you're 1 or 2, you get a bye all the way to the semifinals. If you're 3, you get a bye to the quarterfinals. If you're 4, 5, or 6, you get a home game. And so in the past, we tried to build like this so that we were really good in February and peaking as we went into March. We didn't really care. The years that we won the league, we were good enough to win it. We knew we were, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Now every game's a big deal, and every game in this league's a war.
But before Oakland could focus on their first trip down to Callahan Hall in a decade, they had to meet a more familiar foe on the floor of the arena for the first time as Horizon League opponents.
First time ever in this league, home opener. You're going to have a big crowd. People are waiting to see, what are we about? We talked about this the other night, the same thing here. Fellas, it's classic, players make plays. This ain't about me, it's about you. Players make plays. You want to win, go win. Make plays.
Oh, Duke Mundy! That's off the iron. No. Oh, what a flush by Tommy McHugh!
Fellas, you gotta have stops. If they get to 70, we're not gonna win. You gotta have stops. Now let's go, stops.
I think the memories I have is from being here, it's always came down to the last shot. So I think when you have games like that, it really gets exciting for us and the fans.
Long three on the way. Of course, Travis Mater.
Stay on the line.
There's one, the clock will run out. Keith Carter had no idea how much time was left.
They didn't know what to do the last 7 minutes. They had no clue. That last possession, you know, they didn't get a shot off. You guarded. And you guarded, man, you didn't, oh, I got bumped. You take him, please. You manned up and guarded. But I want to hug you because you stepped out of here on your own in the second half. I wasn't with you. You stepped out of here on your own and you did it. If we win this thing, we'll remember this night.
You have people that came to Oakland and settled here and love it and have, through blood, sweat, and tears and heart and all those kind of things, have built a program. And that's what makes it a special place.
In order to assure a rivalry for the record books, each team needs to have a strong identity, a belief in your program and how history has forged it into what it is today. And for the Golden Grizzlies, this year marks a special milestone in the story of Oakland University's athletic department. Looking at the atmosphere surrounding any game or event on campus today, it's hard to believe how far the Oakland University athletic department has come in the last 5 decades.
You have a bunch of longtime coaches. You have coaches that have been here for a long time. You have administrators that have been here for a long time. You have people that came to Oakland and settled here and love it and have, through blood, sweat, and tears and heart and all those kind of things, have built a program, an athletic department and a swimming team that's unprecedented, soccer, all the sports. Longtime coaches that believe and live and die Oakland. And that's what makes it a special place.
The men's and women's swim team head coach Pete Hovland first arrived on campus in 1979.
I wasn't sure where I was going, and I finally pulled off at a gas station and says, geez, you know, I'm looking for Oakland University. Can you help me out? And I was right on Square Lake and Telegraph there, or Square Lake and Woodward, I think. And people at the gas station didn't even know where Oakland University was, and I was only, what, 2 miles, 3 miles from campus.
The 1980s brought Oakland swimming their first team national championship. Coach Hovland and star swimmer and current OU athletic director Tracy Huth also began a friendship that has endured for more than 3 decades.
The head coach, Ernie, said, hey, I want you to go down to the Detroit airport and pick up one of our recruits. That started, obviously, a relationship that goes back 35 years now. And the fact that I didn't get lost on the way back from the airport or to the airport and we were able to bring him back, I take all the credit for it.
The swim team was not the only program making waves in the OU athletic department. Men's soccer made it to the national stage in their first national championship game. The women's basketball team made it to the Final Four, and Greg Campy took over the men's basketball program.
14 years they had been in a conference, and they had never had a winning season in that conference, so then we had to build that. Then we got to where we were ranked in the top 10 in the nation 10 years in a row in a Division II, and they changed the landscape and we went Division I.
Major change came when OU made the decision to move to Division I and transition from 1997 through 1999.
We all embraced it, and we said if we're doing this, we're going to do it right. And if you look down the path, if you look what our swimming teams have done, you look what our soccer teams have done, if you look at through our sports, you will see, you know, excellence.
Ultimately, OU decided to change their mascot from the Pioneers to the Golden Grizzlies and continued to push further onto the main stage. But it wasn't until the 2000s that people across the country really started to take notice. The men's basketball team made it to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 2005 with a last-minute shot for the ages.
When it really changed was when men's basketball went to the NCAA tournament for that first time. So you had that happen in 2005. That exposure was tremendous for the university. I think people across the country not only noticed Oakland, but the people that had graduated from here, your alumni, took notice of that. They became proud of the institution. They didn't have to explain to everybody that Oakland University was in Michigan.
Well, the university now in its 50th year, has a tradition of excellence. And one of the things, you know, one of our founding slogans that we have is graduates and champions, that we graduate our athletes and we win championships, and the history shows we've done that. It's not just rhetoric, we've done that. I think I've had 87 kids or something like that, and 85 of them or 83 of them have graduated. And if you go through sport by sport, that's what we have.
Earlier this fall, it was some of those charter Oakland teams that got to launch the rivalry with Detroit first, claiming victories from the Titans in both men's and women's soccer and topping UDM in women's cross country.
They kept it real with me. They didn't give me no stuff about, you know, you're going to be getting playing minutes, nothing like that. They never promised me nothing, and that's what I like.
To establish a lasting rivalry, each side must have a pride in what makes their team the better half of the equation, and the desire to successfully represent the place they come from. For freshman Khalil Felder, a brewing rivalry between his hometown of Detroit and his new home on the Oakland University campus brings its own unique conflicts. He recently met with Fox Sports Detroit's Justin White to talk about what it's like to be the new kid on the court.
Well, I know that for every freshman, the transition to college can be a big one. What's it been like for you thus far?
It's been, you know, up and down. You know, I had some good games, had some bad games, but on the academic side, it's been, you know, it's been stressful, but I've been handled it pretty good.
And you told me that you decided to commit to Oakland early on in your senior year. How did you know that this was going to be the place for you?
They kept it real with me. They didn't give me no stuff about, you know, you're going to be getting playing minutes, nothing like that. They never promised me nothing, and that's what I like.
You've been a real factor for this team. How do you think you've been able to do it?
Just being in the gym, listening to the coaches, you know, watching the film, doing stuff I need to do, and talking to Bader, Duke, and the seniors a lot, and it's just been helping me, and it's been working so far.
You come from a basketball family. I know that your dad played college basketball. Your cousin is Steve Smith, of course, who went to Michigan State, played in the NBA. What was it like for you growing up in a basketball family?
I mean, it was pretty tough. Every day I was either at the court, in the gym somewhere, playing basketball. I always had a ball in my hand, you know, and most of the days it was pretty competitive. I would lose some, win some. I would basically, like 5 days out the week, I would have a bloody nose or something. So.
Last year you were playing games at Pershing in Detroit, and now you come to Oakland, you're playing against North Carolina, Indiana, Michigan State, UCLA. What's that experience been like for you?
And all the banners they hung up, all the jerseys, you know, like one day it was wild. Like I play here, I'm gonna be able to tell my kids when I get older that I wouldn't play there before.
You talked a little bit earlier about being a kid from Detroit and how that kind of toughens you up.
Detroit is just something, it molded me into what I am today, and better gotta be a dog, as they would say, you know, a pit bull.
You try to take that pit bull mentality onto the court with you?
Oh yes, I do, every game.
It's your job. Everyone's got to know whether you've got the ball or not, right?
What about learning from Coach Campy? Because he's been doing this a long time, and he definitely has his own personality, his way of doing things. How's that been for you?
It's been pretty, you know, up and down, but for the most part, it's been pretty fun, you know, learning from him and taking it very serious.
What about you? Are you a serious kind of guy? Are you more laid back? Describe your personality.
I'm more of a laid back kind of guy, you know. I don't like to talk as much, but I've been talking lately, you know, that's because Campy been on my back about it. So.
He wants his point guards to talk, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have to get a little bit chattier as time goes on.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And it's coming along very good.
With anticipation building for the first Horizon League meeting between Oakland and Detroit on the basketball court, it was the women's team led by first-year head coach Jeff Tungate who took the first shot at the Titans on the floor of Callahan Hall.
You don't want to be the first one to lose. And so, you know, the pressure of that obviously played a role as well, but we had to treat it like a game that we needed to win because it was a conference game, it was an in-state school, and it was something we needed to show up and play, and our players did. They did a great job.
It was a lot of fun. You know, we got the win, and it's always fun to win. But just playing on the court with my teammates is something that I just really look forward to and embrace. And, you know, at this point in the season, I feel like we're peaking as a team. And so just, you know, remembering and kind of looking back to that game, I just remember having a lot of fun.
It was just a lot of fun. It was a great atmosphere. I remember playing Detroit a few years ago. We played them twice and we lost here and at U of D. So to be able to go down there and get a win, it was great. And to have all of our family and friends and the Grizz gang behind us and going in with a totally new mindset, it was awesome to be there and to be able to play with my teammates, and to get the first win in Horizon League play against U of D was great.
We want it to be relevant. I've seen Cincinnati Xavier close up. I've seen Michigan State games close up. I know what they are, and I want this to become that.
Oakland University basketball after that guard tradition values those carry great for me.
Any truly great rivalry is a battle with wins and losses on both sides. Momentum has to swing both ways to feed the intensity of the matchup. With a packed Callahan Hall on hand to witness the first meeting between Oakland University and the University of Detroit Mercy as Horizon League rivals, the Golden Grizzlies finally made the trip they had circled on the calendar months before.
What an opportunity you guys have. You have an opportunity that a decade of Oakland players before you didn't get. Let's just see what happens.
Entry pass to Corey Petros with a two-handed flush and a pump of the fist from Corey. Kay Felder. Alley-oop! Throwdown by Tommy McCune. That was nasty, folks.
Who's protecting the shooter?
Outlet pass, Gerard Williams all alone with a two-handed flush.
You're playing for your school. You're playing for your school. And if I was sitting on those stands wearing black, I'd be really mad right now. You're at the threshold right now, fellas. You're at the threshold. Are you who I just said you are, or are you going to be somebody that this school can be proud of?
Swipe by Duke Mundy. Here comes Duke on the other side to the left wing. Pulls up, three on the way, and we're tied. Duke Mundy with a steal and a three. And Williams comes away the board. Bader for three. Of course, Travis. Bader for three. 71-68.
That's what we want. They can't guard you. They can't guard you.
Drives to the lane, puts up the right-handed runner, no. Tipped up, no. Rebound by Corey Petros. Oh, Bruins might have a point-blank tip, and it wouldn't drop. Grant dribbles it up, 5 seconds left. He launches a three. That's off the heel, no good. Rebound tipped away, and the clock runs out. And the Golden Grizzlies come back from a dozen, down with 8.5 minutes to go, and they get the win 77-69 over the Detroit Titans.
Well, I just, you know, everything that I had fought for and wanted came to fruition that night, knowing our students would travel, knowing our fans would travel, knowing that this would become important to them, and that this rivalry and this game and in that moment and the excitement that they would come there, and then the excitement of how the game went, and then seeing their joy and expressing it outside of Callahan Hall. It's pretty cool.
With 4 3-point shots made in the win against the Titans, the player that has owned the number 3 both on his jersey and the stat sheet moved even closer to his own history-making achievement for the program's 50th anniversary.
Travis Bader's going to be the greatest ever in college basketball at shooting a 3-point shot. The greatest ever. I mean, you just can't put your hands around that. I just can't quantify that. So it's a big, big deal.
For the Oakland program, it would be huge. You know, could say we got arguably the greatest 3-point shooter ever come through here to walk through this campus.
Works extremely hard, hardest kid work I ever met in my life. So he just well-deserved, and Oakland deserves it too as well, because you know he's brought in, he's walking around campus, having one of the best shooters in the country ever to come through, you know, college basketball. So it's just nice to have him here.
This record didn't come by accident. It came through a lot of hard work, a lot of time in the gym, and to see happen to such a great person makes it even more special. And I know we're all excited for him. We can't wait for him to get to that record, and he definitely deserves it.
My whole staff, every player, are involved in this. And it's something they'll take with them the rest of their lives, that they were part of this kid being the greatest ever.
But regardless of which team won the first battle, the Golden Grizzlies know this is just the beginning of a greater war. Come February, the first meeting on Dick Vitale Court will only serve as an inspiration for a Valentine's Day date with the Titans again, this time at the arena. Because that's the other thing about great rivalries. You know that no matter what happens this time, there will always be a next time. Catch Oakland basketball at the arena as the men's and women's teams continue Horizon League play. For tickets to all Oakland basketball games, call 248-370-4000 or visit ougrizzlies.com.